What up, Panther Nation? Rockstar Gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure as you come in, make sure you pound that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. I'm going to go away. No, I'm just kidding. Panthers World's in here. What's up, Panthers World? How are you? C is in here. What up, C? Appreciate you joining. Guys, make sure you get in the make sure as you're coming in, make sure you pound the like button. Feel free to get in the chat. Love to hear your thoughts as we go throughout today's show today. So again, I appreciate everyone joining. Maxie's in here. We'll let a couple people get in, and I'll love to hear y'all's thoughts and comments as we go throughout the show. Got a great show for you. Got a lot of things to talk about. As you can see in the description, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Comes down to it, right? We got a lot of crossroads, got a lot of issues. It's just a mess, right? It is just a mess. It is a mess. You know what I mean? I had to wet my whistle there. All right. I'm going to pull this up for you. Boom. Actually, I kind of like the better like this so you can see it a little bit more, but the comments in the way. Booyah. Nothing less than 2 first-rounders. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it, Maxie. Now, I know it says a 2024 first-round pick, but we're going to dive more into that. It's definitely going to be more than 2 first-round picks. All right. It's definitely going to be more than one first-round pick. I mean, so not more than 2 first-round picks. So, anyways. All right, so we got some news and updates. Let's get right into it. Obviously, the injury blow to Jeremy Chin. Now, I know I made a short about this, and just commenting on it. It was just a harsh blow. Whether it's true or not that he's actually injured, because there is some conspiracy to me that he could be not injured, and they're using this as an excuse to keep him sidelined to trade him. So there is that. But if it is true that he's out for 6 weeks due to a quad injury, well, then that might not happen either. Right? That might not even happen either. So I think he's a crucial part of our defense. Maybe not in this scheme. It fits perfectly. Obviously, his usage has gone down since Evero has taken over as a defensive coordinator. Whether or not, like I said, whether or not this is true or not, we'll have to see, as time goes on. Because, like I said, I feel like there is a conspiracy theory here with the Jeremy Chin issue that he could be, he may not be injured, right? He may not be injured, and maybe they are sitting him down to use him as a trade piece. So we'll see. But as of right now, they're listing him out for 6 weeks due to a quad injury. Obviously, we have heard news that Philadelphia Eagles are interested. I've heard that Philadelphia Eagles have shown interest in Chin. So, we'll see how this turns out. We'll see how this storyline turns out. So Miles Sanders is up there, as you can see. Offensive changes. Frank Wright, hands over the call on duty to Thomas Brown, who I hope he brings in some, fresh ideas, breathes in a new life to this offense that has just continued to struggle each and every week. We broke down the game film against Miami. Like I said, there was multiple drives where I saw that we were kind of doing just the same play calling after the same play calling after the same play calling. And, well, I wouldn't say it was the same play calling every time, but there was definitely drives where there was only 1 or 2 plays that maybe were different. But it's still, hopefully, we'll see a difference with Thomas Brown, which I do. Like I said, I expect a running back by committee in the run game, and some outside direction. just to keep things, not so predictable, and keep the defense questioning. Same thing in the passing game, high tempo, pre-snap motion, um, stuff like that. So I expect that, you know, out of Thomas Brown, and I've been vocal about that. But could Miles Sanders benefit from this offensive change? Maybe. I'm not going to say he's going to, but maybe. Sanders has had a challenging season, obviously. Injuries, groin, now a shoulder. He's struggled offensively to contribute. Honestly, he's hurt us more than he's helped us. Um, Obviously, with Thomas Brown's background in the run game, I hope that they do devise a strategy really to hopefully maximize Sanders' skill set, and maybe he can get back to his old ways. But like I said, I'm not holding my breath. Um, however, if Sanders doesn't meet expectations, Chuba Hubbard's ready to step up, and we've seen that. Now, with the trade deadline approaching, obviously, I think the Panthers are looking to sell assets. All right, to accumulate some draft capital, because of a lack of a first round pick in the first round in the 2024 draft. I know that players like Brian Birds, Luvu, Chin, Marshall, Tommy Tremble, hell, even Taylor Moton. I've even heard names been thrown around. Uh, there's Terrace Marshall, right? I've even heard LaVisca Chenault, so there has been names been thrown around that could be potential trade candidates. Dante Jackson as well. Brian Burns in particular has been could fetch some significant draft wealth, but we'll dive more into that because we're going to figure out really. I've done some research. I've kind of dived into it, kind of gave it some thought, and we're going to dive more into that. Is it worth it? What are places that he could possibly, if they did do it, what teams could we possibly trade for? So we'll see. But it also would leave, if we did that with Brian Burns, we also have to keep in mind it would significantly affect our pass rush, obviously, right? And then, of course, there's been this trade scenario out there that I've seen even for Adam Thielen. And he's the best wide receiver, the only bright spot of this offense. And despite our team struggles, him and Bryce have great chemistry, and he's been the most dependable player on this offense. Despite his importance, there has been speculation of potential trades for him. And apparently, Baltimore Ravens have showed interest in him. However, let it go with Thielen, whether through a trade or injury, could have dire consequences for our pass game. So we got a lot of challenges that we got to navigate through this period with dealing with injuries, trade rumors, significant changes to try to even turn the season around. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not holding my breath at this point. I've been vocal about it. All I want to see is progress in competitive football. That's it. Let me get in the chat here. I see some people. I would take a 2025 20 for Burns. Interesting. I think we need something now, but if we could get something like that, I would be okay. Bro, TMJ has permission to look for a trade partner. Thank God. Thank God. Another mystery injury, but maybe. That's what I'm thinking with the Jeremy Chin thing. It's in the back of my mind. Whether he's actually injured, if he is injured, okay, well, we can't trade him if he's actually injured. But there is a scenario in my mind that maybe they're saying he's injured to use him in a trade scenario. Maybe T. Brown was a running back coach before he has assisted H. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, Marcos Cash, you're exactly right. That's facts right there. So we'll see. Scott Fowler just reported that team. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see on that who he gets. We'll see who he gets. Not sure who will trade for him, seeing as we need wide receivers. I know. I'm not too sure either. I am not too sure either. Clay, have you heard San Francisco restructured some contracts and cleared around? I didn't see that yet. Let me see. Around 28 million. Wow. I did not know that, Marcos. So maybe they're in the trade market for something. What they're in the market for, I'm not too sure. I don't know what what Marcos. I'm not sure what San Francisco would be needing unless Debo Samuel's going to be out. Burns to San Fran. That would be crazy. That would just absolutely be nuts. Him and Bosa on both sides of the ball. If that's the case, I mean, San Francisco, I think, would have to give up a lot. Not, they would have to give up a lot because we would be not only are we doing it within the NFC, but then we're also. I don't know if they've got it. I don't know if San Fran's got it though. That would be an interesting trade. But who are the San Fran's going to trade with us for? You know, Fitterer has to go. He's been the GM so far, and that's the worst GM so far, and that's saying much. And that's saying much. Yeah, I know, Panda. I'm about it. I'm about it too. I'm done with it. So biggest failure so far this season to me. Kind of wanted to go over this. Um, this Carolina Panthers delusion, this thing that began the season with lofty expectations, saying this team is ready for a serious playoff push just because we finally got our quarterback of the future, whether or not he is or not, right? Whether you believe it or not, I'm not saying that he's not, but there are some concerns, but also he doesn't have a lot of help and we can't just throw that aside, right? I still believe that he doesn't have enough help from the offensive line and offensive weapons. And the play calling has not done him any favors either. So, you know, they promised, right? Our GM promised us, right, a capable of immediate success, saying this team is ready. There's only one negative that we see through this roster, and obviously everything that he said was a bunch of BS. And we've seen that through 6 games already because we went from apparently thinking that we could win this division to now we are actually thinking of a fire sale full rebuild now, if you think about it, right? And Scott Fitterer claims of a successful recruitment period now, and the Panthers struggle to find their footing. And that it was just a bunch of BS. We were fed a bunch of BS, and we're seeing it now. Injuries, okay? I mean, I know this is the unfortunate part of the NFL, but the players have suffered a disproportionate amount of injuries and pain from this. Now, I will say our team's performances do lack when injuries happen, right? Especially key players like your starting left guard, Brady Christensen, out for the season. Your vocal playmaking linebacker, Shaq Thompson, sidelined for the entire season. Xavier Woods out, what, 6 weeks, 8 weeks? Maybe it's less than that, but I think it's at least 6 weeks. JC Horn, has been out 4 to 6 weeks. When is he going to make his return? Maybe after the bye week. We also have heard that Austin Corbett could be coming back after the bye week. Xavier Woods might actually have a chance to come back, but I'm not too sure about that either. Von Bell, Miles Sanders. Then now they say Jeremy Chin, whether that's true or not. I'm not, like I said, there is that conspiracy theory to me that Jeremy Chin's injury is not true. They're just saying that so they could use him to keep him sidelined to trade him. But the lack of depth in crucial positions is absolutely glaring. We notice that. I mean, it doesn't take much for any of us to notice that. There's 20 people watching, only 10 likes. Please do me a favor and smash that like button like it owes you money. I would appreciate it. It goes a long way. But it just makes it difficult for any team to perform well, even in this aspect of things when injuries are happening. But it makes things makes tasks difficult to overcome when these setbacks happen, right? So, another thing is the offense efficiency, right? We were promised an explosive offense, this whole playbook that we were hiding from, from these teams this offseason. Then we get into the regular season and it's just been nothing short of a lackluster performance, right? Frank Wright's offense supposedly holding back innovative schemes definitely has failed to impress. Injuries to the offensive line have added uh, issues as well. Big money signings have been disappointed. Young talents have failed to meet expectations. Beyond Bryce Young's potential, Hubbard's glimpses, Adam Thielen's resurgence. There's little to cheer about when it comes to this Panthers offense, right? There's little to cheer about. And then last but not least, Carolina Panthers record. Ultimately, guys, the bottom line here is that the Panthers are 0-6, which is simply to me unacceptable. You part ways with Matt Rule. This team is incompetent seems to be incompetent to win games. Then the pressure's on Frank Wright. And apparently we have an owner that's getting involved in football operations, right? And this is his first year here. And now the pressure, he's already seems like he's in the hot seat. David Tepper is impatient, and that only adds on urgency. And essentially, to remember that Rome wasn't built in a day, and I've said it multiple times, but still, the coaching, we were told that this was the Avengers of the coaching staff. Pat McAfee has come out and said that if you look at this coaching staff, it's one of the best in the NFL. He's even come out and said that. Rich Eisen has even said that on his show. And even those guys who are big names in the NFL are even surprised that this coaching staff hasn't lived up to its expectations, right? This coaching staff needs to take time to make their mark, distract changes. They need to make drastic changes. Sorry, not distract changes. Drastic changes in this midseason, because right now you could do more harm than good. You have nothing to lose at this point. So, I mean, we're in the bye week. We have a chance to regroup, hopefully turn the tide into our favor somewhat. There are some games I feel like we could win if we can salvage some dignity, get some identity in this offense and this defensive line, right? And then hopefully some key players are coming back. But it's hard to advocate for patience when you start out 0-6. So it's like throwing a baby. I felt like it's like throwing a baby out with the bathwater, right? This Panthers team has assembled a coaching staff with high expectations, and they need time to support and deliver their promises, but they have not lived up to the hype. So I need them to figure it out, make the correct changes, and if they before the trade deadline, if they want to make some changes there, make sure they do it correctly. I mean, will they do it? Do I trust this front office to make the correct changes, Scott Fitterer and all that? No, I don't. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys. Gotta let my dogs in. Great. Sorry about that. I had to let my dogs out in. They were whining outside. They were whining. All right, let me get through these comments real quick. Oh yeah. All right. So many injuries as fans. We really, as fans, we don't really want to hear it, but that's the NFL. Unfortunately, it is. And I'm gonna make a video about the turf issue because I've been doing some research on that. If everything stays the same as they are now, we will be picking 33 overall. What position you going with first? Maybe I would go center or wide receiver. Marcos, if we're picking in the second round, the problem is the talent going to be there by the time we get there? So not the why I think the wide receiver position is very big. This is going to be a big draft for wide receivers. So I think we could definitely get a wide receiver there, but I feel like still to me to this day, I am a big believer in building within the trenches. So yes, I would either go with I would either build that offensive lineup with some young talent. So yes, either a center, um, maybe you go left guard, right guard, just because of the Christensen injury, Austin Corbett's injury. But center wouldn't be bad because Bozeman, how much longer is he going to play? Because he's older. So, but I feel like centers play for a very long time for the most part. I feel like most centers can play up to their 30s, high like mid 30s, but you never know. You never know. I'm saying build it within the trenches, whether it's the offensive line or defensive line. It really depends on what we trade during the season, but I'd go wide receiver. I understand. I mean I don't disagree either. Getting some weapons for Bryce does help too. Really hope to see something different after the bye week. I hope so too. I hope to see some change. I really do. I think we're gonna see some change with Brown's offensive scheme and how he's gonna draw it up. I think we definitely will. And I think he's going to use some of that Rams um knowledge that he got from McVay and put it to work. This staff has not given any reason to trust they know what they're doing. It's baffling. Well, the only person I would say on the staff that we don't truly know how good he is Thomas Brown. I think we're going to finally find that. We'll finally find out if how good of a head offense coordinator he is. The way he speaks though, he speaks like a head coach, and I really like him. I would if they decide to part ways with Frank, if that's something that they end up doing, which I don't really see happening, but I would love to see him become a head coach, whether it's here or maybe somewhere else. Did you know the 49ers have 12 picks in the next year's draft? That's insane. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I'd love to know how they made that happen. See, I might have to do some research on that. Yeah, I would go center or best offensive line. Yeah. Yeah, I just think that at this point we need to build the depth, you know, within the trenches, and then move the go after talent on the outside. What's up, Panther Radio X? Appreciate you joining the live stream, man. Guys, make sure as you're coming in, make sure you pound the like button. We're gonna continue going through the show. I just wanted to get through. I like to go through the comments. Jay Issues in here from the Black Cat Panther Podcast. Appreciate you, Jay. I love TMJ. I hope TMJ finds another team that'll accept him. I don't see why not. I don't see a team. I don't see why a team wouldn't. Uh, what team is going? We ain't gonna. I don't think we're gonna get much compensation for him. I'll be surprised if we do. But that's fine by me. Let him walk. Let him go wherever he wants to go. So it's a lose-lose situation for us. If Brown balls out, he's gone. If he doesn't, he was still in the hole, right? And that's the thing. That's another thing you got to think about. Let's say Thomas Brown. Let's say Thomas Brown does ball out, and they fire Frank Wright. So here's your two scenarios, Panda. Either they fire Frank Wright if Thomas Brown balls out, they fire Frank Wright and they hire him. That's one scenario. They'll hire Thomas Brown. Here's another scenario. If Thomas Brown balls out, then, and of course, I don't see them firing Frank Wright. He could end up getting a head coaching job. But then now Bryce has to get a whole new, is going through basically his third offensive coordinator, if you think about it, because Frank Reich was calling the plays first, then Thomas Brown. Now, whoever they get in here next, right, is going to have an offensive coordinator. Whoever they bring in next for the offensive coordinator position, that will be his third offensive coordinator making play calling, and just basically a 1 year span. If you think about it, it's crazy. TMJ is going to ball elsewhere. It's the Panther way. Jason, I hope that's wrong. I honestly, you know who I could see coming after TMJ? I could kind of honestly see the Bills going after him. It seems like the Bills always pick up our sloppy seconds somehow. It's like we're their farm team. So I would, I could see TMJ going over to the Bills. Not going to lie. Guys, make sure you pound that like button as you're coming in. Greatly appreciate it. We're almost I'd love to get up to 50 likes in this live. I would, goes a long way. Just pound that like button like it owes you money. If Frank gets fired, Evero or Brown, I like the way Brown speaks, man. I like the way Brown speaks. I think that he's going to be a head coach one day. I don't think Evero is going to be a head coach one day. I just don't think this 3-4 defense is going to work. You don't have a true nose tackle, and the usage of the players on the defense hasn't shown me that he really knows what he's doing. I think we should have stayed at a 4-3 base and called it a day, but it is what it is. Not much loving this rebuild. It's just a little too late, and it's happening awkward. Yeah, it's a crossroads of situations, man. Too many egos. I think there's just too many egos in this whole situation between owner, GM, and head coach. I think we should switch back to the 4-3 because that 3-4 looking spooky. Yeah, it's looking spooky because we don't have a true nose tackle, and we're using a guy who's actually a true defensive tackle, more or less a defensive end at nose tackle, where Derek Brown should just be the nose tackle, and you should move the other two to the outside. But for some reason, we decide to continue to keep Shy Tuttle at nose tackle for some reason. This to me. Maybe the Bengals for TMJ, possibly. But do they really need any more wide receiver help there between Boyd, Higgins, and Chase? Maybe the Vikings. Maybe they want to bring somebody in while, maybe the Vikings. Maybe they want to bring somebody in while they're waiting for Jay Jettis to come back. Could be an interesting move. Too many chefs in the kitchen. Exactly. Too many voices. Man. So is it worth it, guys? Is it worth it? Okay. Because, all right, let's break it down here. I'm getting in my zone now. Okay. So think about it this way. Scott Fitterer, right, took that significant leap of faith when he traded for Bryce Young last year. He made this bold move because he believed that we wouldn't be in position to draft a top 10 quarterback for the near future in last year's draft. Fitterer's vision was clear. Acquiring a franchise quarterback was paramount, and Young appeared to be the chosen one. Even though there's rumors out there that Frank Wright wanted CJ Stroud, but of course David Tepper stepped in and said, no, we're getting Young. Basically is what my understanding is, okay, at a basic, level. Now, Bryce Young journey, it's still in its early stages. The potential is there, I think, but he needs support badly. Okay. However, the pursuit of going to get a young quarterback came at a price, right? You had to part ways with a 2024 first round pick, which as of now would be right now, if you think about it, would be the number one pick overall in this 2024 draft, right? If we didn't trade that pick away because we're 0-6, right? So with no first round pick and limited draft capital that we already have, we're at a crossroads again. Okay. So pondering the potential moves as the October 31st trade deadline, right? Okay. The path to acquiring a first rounder in 2024 would involve trading their talent, trading Burns. Okay. That's the only way that this is going to be possible to get a first round pick. And he's the only player I think on this team that could. Okay. Now, his name has surfaced in various mock trade scenarios that we've seen, right? We've seen scenarios with, I've seen scenarios with Jacksonville because they want another pass rusher to help out Josh Allen over there in Jacksonville. I've seen scenarios with the Ravens, right? Because they've got 2 pass rushers out, right? I think another scenario was with the Vikings. I've seen. I've even heard Kansas City could be a team that could be involved. We've also seen the Rams maybe coming back and getting involved, right? There's different scenarios of how this could go down. So with no new contract as well, right? That a trade, we have to think about it this way. Since we have not signed this man, right? We have not came to a new contract agreement. That trade, a trade could become a reality. And what that trade could look like, well, we'll get more into that here shortly. 25 people are watching. Make sure you pound that like button. We only are 18 likes. I would greatly appreciate it. I would love to get 25 up to 50 likes in this live stream today. And it goes a long way, guys, and it's free. Just one click away. So Burns, let's make this known. He ranks among one of the premier pass rushers in the NFL. Okay. Players of his caliber rarely become available. Okay. These kinds of guys are very, very rare to come by. Right. So it's conceivable that the Panthers could secure a first round pick and more in a trade involving Burns. However, the pivotal question now comes here, and I'm confronting Fitterer with this. Is whether it's sensible to trade away such a gifted player like Burns for the uncertainty of draft prospects. Again, the pivotal question here is confronting Fitterer is whether it's sensible to trade away such a player like Burns with the uncertainty of draft prospects, right? You're taking a risk of not sure, even though this guy could be even though this guy could be the best pass rusher or best wide receiver or best tight end or best left guard or right guard, whatever, right? In that draft, whatever draft prospect that we're looking at, you're taking the risk of drafting that guy and then he might not turn out, right? Because we already know what we got in Burns. But in draft prospects, yes, you can scout them out, look at them, but are we really sure that this guy is worth it, right? So certainly, accumulating more draft picks, essentially, especially a first rounder, is an appealing prospect. Nevertheless, it's not a make or break scenario for this franchise, I think. There's no guarantee that the bundle of picks received in exchange for Burns will match his level of production. Because the NFL draft, beyond the top 10 or 15 picks, often feels like a gamble. You're throwing darts with a blindfold and hoping that you hit the bullseye. Right? That's the best way I can kind of describe it. Because if the Panthers do trade Burns to a playoff contender, right, the draft pick acquired is likely to fall between the 20 and 32. So the critical question becomes, do you have enough confidence in our scouting department to discover talent of a Burns caliber player at the stage of the draft. I don't. I don't, because think about it this way. Think about the Christian McCaffrey trade, right? The Panthers used one of the picks from that trade to acquire Bryce. And then the other two were utilized in the trade with the Steelers to move up and get outside linebacker DJ Johnson. Now, regrettably, Johnson's only seen 61 snaps on the field this season. Okay. Furthermore, if the Panthers continue to accumulate losses, they'll hold the top pick of the second round in the upcoming draft. And Fitterer has previously stated that the talent pool before, he has said this before, Fitterer has said this, has stated that picks between 18 to 45 is relatively similar, implying that there might not be significant difference between these selections. Okay, so this suggests that making a trade to secure an additional pick within the same talent bracket might not be as advantageous as it appears. So, in conclusion, while the allure of obtaining a 2024 first round pick is enticing, but this is a very complex decision, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a very complex decision. So trading away a valuable asset like Burns involves uncertainties about the future. The NFL draft is unpredictable, and securing a top-tier player like Burns is a rarity. So the Panthers will need to weigh their options carefully and consider the potential returns against the known quality of player like Burns. I digress. I digress. I think the only way we're going to get anything out of Brian Burns is unless you're able to trade him for talent that's already in the NFL, that's already good enough to play. And that's going to be very hard to do. It doesn't make sense now that I literally, when I was making this live stream, and I was really thinking about this scenario, and I really took a lot of thought into this, as you can tell, I hope. It really hit home for me that it doesn't make sense. Even though we have multiple issues, yes, drafts are for the future. Yes, does it look like we're going to have to do a rebuild? Yes. But that rebuild's we're not going to be able to take a player like Burns. Yes, you'll be able to get draft capital for him, but like I said, you're taking the risk of the unknown of these prospects panning out. It's the same thing like with college coaches recruiting players. There's been guys multiple times that are 5-star recruits and they just don't pan out. It's the same thing with the NFL draft. And then you trade away a valuable asset like Brian Burns that's a rarity to come by, and then these other guys don't pan out. That's the risk that you're taking. Now, if it was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of ordeal where it's a Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Randy Moss, something like that caliber of player, sure. And if you could see it from a mile away, but I just don't see it. I don't see the worth of the risk anymore. It's time to just meet reality and say we ain't going to get a first round pick in 2024. And they just need to re-sign this man and call it a day. I will say this. If they don't re-sign him, though, you're going to have to do something because franchise tagging him, I don't think it's going to keep him here. I think that guy will sit. If we franchise tag him, I have a feeling that Burns would sit. He would just be like, franchise tag me, but I'll just sit until you either re-sign me or trade me away. I could see that happening. Jay Issues coming in here saying, I was okay moving on from Burns before the season, but seeing how he's our pass rusher, man, I'm 50-50. I would love having Carter with Birds and Brown. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you on that, Jay Issue. We could have the first round. Yeah. You think about it now, right? If we wouldn't have traded that first round pick last year to the Browns or the Bears, and would have been able to somehow keep it and made that trade, sure, I think it would have been worth it. But I think that in that trade, and we had to trade away an extra first round pick, our first round pick this year to get him, Bryce Young. It's starting to really hit home as to we might have sold too much, right? We gave too much. Tyree Ross is coming in here. Appreciate you joining the live stream, Tyree. If it don't matter, I feel we are still going to be terrible. Tyree, we're going to be terrible for a while, my friend, for a while. So just buckle your seat in. Jay, you trading away Burns still won't fix the issues. Yeah, exactly, Jay. I know it's not going to fix it. I know that. I know that. There's too many holes here. And I've been very vocal about that. And you know that I've been, Jay. You know I've been very vocal about every issue we have. I think I named off like there's like 15. If I had like an Excel spreadsheet of all the issues, I'd have a full one. They have to trade him if they're not going to pay him. Exactly. You can't just let the guy walk. I can guarantee you that man, if they don't reach an agreement with his contract and they try to franchise tag him by next year, I guarantee you this man's going to sit until he either gets a contract or he gets traded away. I guarantee you. Kind of late, but here with you live. Appreciate that money, making true money. I appreciate that, brother. Guys, make sure you're pounding that like button as you're coming in, Make sure you pound that like button like it owes you money, all right? Just like the Black Cat Panther podcast says, man, they always tell me, wipe your feet. You know what to do. Pound that like button and subscribe, Jay, sorry, I had to take y'all saying for a second. Nova, they should have did that before the season started. Yep, they should have. They should have. We were all calling for it. But here's the thing now. Let's get into a trade scenario because there was a trade scenario that was very interesting to me. And this is the one that was the most interesting to me. Okay. All right. The question I have to you guys is this. And let me know in the chat what you think. It's just a yes or no question. Okay. Do you think that the Los Angeles Rams could rekindle their interest in acquiring Brian Burns? That's my question. Do you think that could happen? Because could that be? Because the one quick key question is for the Panthers is which players are expendable and whether they aim to regain that first round pick in 2024, right? But still, because last year, think about it this way. Last year, the Los Angeles Rams made a substantial trade offer for Brian Burns last year, and we turned it down. Remember, they proposed 2 first-round selections, one in 2024, one in 2025, and along with a second-round pick in last year's draft. Now, obviously, I think a repeat of such is definitely unlikely. And again, I'm not sure if I'm willing to take that either because after, doing my research and thinking about things, Brian Burns is a guy that's rare to come by. So like I said, even if we take that those potential draft picks that even if the Rams rekindled that and said, okay, we'll give you a 2024 first round pick, 2025 first round pick, and a second round pick in 2024 or whatever the case may be, or 2025, maybe even 2026, whatever. It's still that you're taking the risk of getting somebody, a guy, trying to get the same caliber of a guy, and you're risking getting rid of a guy that we already know the caliber he brings to the table. Now, I've heard that the Rams could revisit this, but the problem is it's not going to be the compensation that I would be looking for. They would only be looking for, from my understanding, would be like a 2024 first rounder, something like a 2025 second rounder, and a 2026 fourth round. Now, I don't see that happens. I don't, and I wouldn't take that trade. But again, it doesn't make sense for us to trade Brian Burns anymore. It just doesn't. So it's not worth it. To this question, is it worth it? No, it's not. So let's get into my NFL Week 7 picks. I got those dialed in for you. I got them dialed in. We don't have to talk about the Panthers game this week, thank goodness, because guess what? They're on a bye week. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. So I've got my NFL picks for you guys right here. So we're going to break each and every game down. We're going to break each and every game down. As you can see, the W's is who I think is going to win. And I'm going to break each and every game down for you right now. Obviously, tonight, we got the Thursday night football. Kicks off with the Jacksonville Jaguars against those ugly-ass New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints, let's just be honest, they've struggled. Going 1-5 against the spread this season. They could bounce back at home as underdogs in a pick 'em, but Trevor Lawrence status is uncertain, and if he can't play, CJ Berthhead will step in, but I'm taking the Jaguars in the close contest. I still think that they're too talented. I think that, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to play. I think I saw an update through Sleeper on my fantasy app that said that he's progressing in the right direction. So I'm going to take Jacksonville in this. The next matchup we got, the Las Vegas Raiders against Chicago. So Raiders, they're heading over to the Windy City. They're going to face the Bears in what could be a battle of backup quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo, Justin Fields are both dealing with injuries. You got Brian Hoyer versus Tyson Baggett. All right. I expect a low-risk game here, but Max Crosby, given that he's on the Raiders and how he's been playing, he's got the most pressures out of any defensive end in the league. I'm going to take the Raiders from the defensive standpoint. Give me the Raiders in this one, 21-19. We got the next matchup I'm going to go over is the Cleveland Browns versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Cleveland Browns pulled that upset win against the 49ers. The Browns are heading to Indianapolis to face a turnover-prone Colts team, in my opinion. Obviously, Anthony AR-15's out for the remainder of the year with the injury he has and having to get surgery. The Browns are the top-ranked defense. It's a force to be reckoned with there. They could capitalize on the Colts' mistakes. If Deshaun Watson turns, it's a boost for the Browns offense in a close road test. But I got the Browns winning this one. That defense, it's unbelievable. With Myles Garrett and that secondary is absolutely filthy. So give me the Browns in this one, 22-17. Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. The Patriots are in some turmoil, man. I won't be surprised if Kirk Cousins goes to the New England Patriots. And I think the Patriots will probably get him, and then they're going to draft a quarterback in this year's draft, whether it's Drake May or Caleb Williams. I see this kind of scenario going down there in the Patriots organization, and then they let that quarterback sit for a year behind Kirk Cousins, and then move on from Kirk after that. that's kind of a crazy scenario that I've kind of put together in my head and kind of did some research on it, and it could be a possibility. But the Patriots, like I said, they just struggle to score points. The Bills are going to dominate this. The Bills should continue their winning streak against New England. Josh Allen's is top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He's been putting together a great potent offense performance, except last week against the Giants. But give me the Patriots here, or the Bills here, 27-17. Next up, we got the Washington Commanders versus the New York Giants. Yes, I've got the Giants winning this game. I know it's a rematch of their last meeting that ended in a tie. The Giants look to break their losing streak. The Commanders' defense is struggling against the run. And with Saquon Barkley back, I think the Giants have a chance to grind out an ugly win here. Give me the Giants, 19-18, 1-point game. That's my kind of like my upset of the week, I guess you could say. It's kind of an upset. Not too bad though. Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Hey, this is an NFC clash right here, guys. Obviously the Falcons are trying to make a statement. I think they're going to struggle on the road. Baker's efficiency could tip the scales in the favor of the Buccaneers, who are looking to bounce back at home. Give me the Bucs, 21-17 over the Falcons, even though I could care less if either one of these teams win. Hopefully it ends in a tie. Detroit Lions at the Baltimore Ravens. One of the days I think one of the most anticipated matchups this Sunday will be this game. I'm actually looking forward to this game. A surprising 5-1 team. Detroit's balanced offense and defense, I think, possesses a threat to the Ravens. They're returning home after a challenging road stretch. The Lions could pull off a nice, I wouldn't say it's an upset, but a nice victory there against a formidable defensive line, even though the Ravens are out 2 pass rushers. So give me the Lions in this one. I think it'll be close, 24-21. Also, guys, I am going to put a parlay together for this on betusa.com. So I'm definitely going to do that, and I'll show you how to do it here shortly. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams have found a spark in their run game, while the Steelers are relying on a rejuvenated Kenny Pickett, I would say. Aaron Donald, TJ Watt will be key factors in this matchup. An explosive connection between Pickett and George Pickens could be the X factor in this intriguing contest. Give me the Steelers, though, in this one, 28-20. And then the Arizona Cardinals at Seattle Seahawks. Now, the Cardinals have stumbled in recent weeks, and they face a tough challenge against the Seahawks. Stout defense. I think Seattle's history of success against Arizona and their strong rushing defense might give them the edge in this one. So give me the Seahawks, 31-21 over the Arizona Cardinals. Next up, we got the Green Bay Packers at the Denver Broncos. Now, the Packers look to get Aaron Jones back in the lineup as they face the Broncos, who have struggled against the run. Jordan Love will need to step up in a tough road environment. If Jones returns, the Packers should have enough firepower to secure this win here. So give me the Packers, 21-17. Next, we got the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs, which is going to be a fun game to watch. I think the Chiefs have to adjust their game plan in this one because they're relying on an improved defense and a methodological offense that's led by Patrick Mahomes. I think the Chargers need to disrupt the Chiefs' rhythm, but it's not going to be easy. The Chiefs did get a familiar face back, McCole Hardman. I expect a close game, but the Chiefs, I think, are going to prevail in this one. Give me the Chiefs 28-24 in this fun matchup. Miami Dolphins, Sunday Night Football against the Philadelphia Eagles. You got Tua versus Jalen Hurts, 2 former Alabama quarterbacks going against each other. Face off in what I think is going to be promises to be an exciting quarterback duel. Both teams have strengths, but the Eagles coming off an embarrassing loss against the New York Jets. I give them the edge at home. Give me the Eagles in a close one, 34-30 over those Miami Dolphins. And last but not least, the Monday Night Football game, San Francisco versus Minnesota Vikings. This Monday Night Football showdown between the 49ers and the Vikings, I think the 49ers are definitely trying to look to rebound against the Vikings, who are missing some key players due to injuries. So keep an eye on the injury reports as they could be significant factors in this outcome. Give me the 49ers in this one, 27-19. So that is your week 7 picks. That is your week 7 picks, guys. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I really do. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everyone pounding that like button. That is always helpful. Toxic Black, I see your comment in here. Appreciate you joining, my friend. JSU with the comment says the Bears might have us beat for them for the most wasted picks. You might be right on that. You might be right on that. So what happens if the rest of the NFC South falls off the cliff the rest of the season? Marco's Cash, that is a good question. I can't answer that because I really don't know. I really don't know. We'll see how it all pans out at the end of the day. So again, guys, I appreciate you joining the live stream. We went over some news and updates. We went over the biggest failures of the season, in my opinion. And is it worth it? And the conclusion of that is no. Too much of a risk for a rarity of a player like Burns. But again, if you're not going to sign him, you might as well take the risk and trade him to get prospects. And then your week 7 picks. And there they are. All right, so let's go on to BETUS. We're going to put this parlay in. The old BETUS.com. It's brought to you by. These week 7 picks was brought to you by BETUS. Sign up for free today, guys. It's in the link tree down below. It's in the link tree down below. And yeah, go check it out. Sign up for free today. They'll match up to 125% bonus on your first bet. So here we go. We're going to put this parlay together. Y'all want to help me put the parlay together? Let me know. Get in the chat. So I got my picks, right? I already know who I'm picking. Okay. Now we got to go to the football. And we got to go to NFL Week 7 games. And then, where do we go here? Display selected. All right. So I have Jacksonville winning this one. Do you think we should take the money line or the spread? Money line or the spread? Y'all let me know in the comments as we go through this. I'm thinking, normally I just pick money line. Normally I just go with the money line and just go with the team I think is going to win. Yeah, me too. That's what I'm thinking. All right, so we're going to put a parlay together. So we're going to pick them. I got the Bucks winning. I'm putting them in this. Okay. I got the Browns. I got Detroit. Bills. He's snoring over here, my puppy. I got the Giants in an upset there. Seattle. Pittsburgh. I got the Chiefs. Green Bay. Philly. And I got San Fran. All right. Now we're just gonna do $5. That's all I've ever done. Holy smokes, look at that. If that thing hits, I know it's fun. I know it's stupid, but it's just for fun. Who cares? So $5 on this parlay gets you could win you $3,500 if it hits. So we're gonna place this bet. We're gonna confirm. Okay, that's fine. Still place bets. Confirm. And it's in. We're gonna download that. Just so we have it. You always want to download your tickets on BetUS, guys, as well. But like I said, sign up for free today. Get 125% bonus on your first bet, right? You can also use promo code Pantherology. I'm gonna have to get my new one changed here soon since we changed the channel name. But you can use Pantherology for now. They'll add an extra 25% bonus on it. So they'll basically, if you sign up for free today, you get 125% bonus on your first play. Plus, if you put the promo code Pantherology, they'll match up an extra 25%. So it's 150% that they'll match up. So there you go. So again, appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. Again, the link tree down below. It takes you all to the Discord, takes you to BetUSA up here, takes you all to my social media as well. So you feel free to follow me on there. You can join the Discord as well in that link tree. It's a great way to continue to build this community and connect with one another. So it's fun. And then the group's been, chatting it up in there. And then of course, BetUS. Don't forget to sign up. All right. So again, thank you. And as always, guys, keep pounding. Peace.